Blessed is he that waits and comes to 1,335 days. This is part 2 of our message, 1,335 days. Watch, okay? Wait for the 1,335 days, and suddenly the seventh trumpet. Hopefully you watched the previous video. We're not going to rehash too much. We're going to go into a summary. How do we know when these days are? Those details were in the previous video. We're just going to go over this again. This is very, very important prophecy. Now, guys, what we want to do in this video, as we always tell you on this channel, is that we want to avoid something called private interpretation. So, for example, you say to me, okay, Leland, what is this in prophecy? And I give you some kind of answer, all right? Well, what is that answer? Where am I coming from? Okay, this is why comments are very difficult and tedious, because you want to know a simple answer, but you don't want to know all the detail. You just want to know one little thing without knowing the big picture. You don't know how that fits in the puzzle, okay? So that's why it's very difficult that if you don't really listen to the channel, really listen to the big picture, it'll be difficult for you to understand particular details. The 1,335 days is like this, okay? So what we want to do in this particular message, in this video, is talk about this idea of multiple witnesses. For example, you ask me the question, I give you some answer. Okay, Leland, what is this? All right. Well, unless I don't tell you guys what I think. If you ever ask me, Leland, what do you think? I'm not going to tell you what I think. If I'm put in a situation where I don't have the answer and I don't know, I'm not going to say, I think this. No. This is the prophecy is a matter of serious stuff. What's going to happen, guys, on the white throne judgment, we're all going to stand before him. The books are going to be open. All right? Now, if he sent watchmen across your path, all right, and they don't warn you, they don't blow the trumpet, all right, then the responsibility is on them. The blood is on their hands. Because you can say, God, you sent a watchman. He didn't even tell me all this stuff. He took my money. He told me just sing songs and not worry. And look, now I find myself, whatever. So it's a responsibility for the watchman. Now, the reason I'm explaining this is that we have to get solid information when we go and we speak the prophecy. And so in this video, we're going to talk about speaking the prophecy by multiple witnesses. We need the multiple witnesses to fill the gap. Now, there's a few ways of going about that. You can get multiple witnesses by reading symbolism, okay? You have a symbolism. You have a certain thing. You have a trumpet. You have a horse. You have a lion, okay? You see that here. You see that here. Okay, it tells you the same thing, all right? The other thing we do is that's by symbolism, also by language. So we have Greek scriptures. We have Hebrew scriptures. We read that in English. Okay, so now we're at a disadvantage. We don't read the original language in Hebrew. We don't read the original language in Greek. And the New Testament, early apostles, they were reading the Septuagint, which was the Old Testament in Greek. Okay, even the book of Hebrews was written in Greek. So they, as well, translated Hebrew into Greek. And they're speaking to the new converts in Greek. It was the known language, all right? So we're at a disadvantage. We don't speak Greek. We're at a disadvantage. We don't speak Hebrew. But the words are very important. So when someone in the New Testament speaks in Greek and he quotes the Old Testament, oh, now we got a match. We can see clearly the words that he spoke and the way it was used, okay? So the other important thing that we do is we find words. In this video, it's very important. Some of the specific words will tell us multiple witnesses about this most amazing moment in time, okay? The moment, the suddenly, the twinkling of an eye, okay? Now that language we find, 1 Corinthians 15, written by the Apostle Paul, that's in Greek, okay? Now those words are only used once in the Bible. The Greek is a small segment of context, of text, okay? Hebrews is much longer. The Hebrew scriptures are many verses, many thousands of years, many examples. Okay, so we have more context, more sources. So how do we take a word from Greek, put it into Hebrew? How do we take a word from Hebrew, put it into Greek? Okay, This is an amazing study, and this is where you can find really solid truth, because once you do that, you can see that something in Hebrew perfectly translates to Greek. All right? And the story of what's happening in the book of Revelation is written in Greek. How do we get that symbolism? How do we get all the understanding of that from the Hebrew scriptures? They tell the story. Okay, it's not private interpretation. So that's very important for us to understand when we look at Daniel 12:12. Blessed is he that comes and waits. In Hebrew or Aramaic, it's haka. Okay, wait. It's not a common word. I believe it's only used like less than 20 times in the whole Old Testament. Okay, so when we take that word and we find other examples of it, begins to tell this story, to fulfill what's taking place, and we can learn about waiting for this day. Now, as we come to this day, let's remember what happened in Revelation chapter 10. The angel has a small book, and it was open. All right, the book was open, and John was instructed to eat the book. Okay, so John eats the book. It goes into his mouth. He eats it. It's sweet as honey. So he eats the book. It tastes sweet as honey. It goes into his stomach, bitter. What's going on? He's being set up as a watchman. Okay? Then it says, John, you must hereafter prophesy to many nations, kindreds, and tongues. Okay? So he eats the book, and then he speaks the book. Okay? Well, we have the same thing. Ezekiel Chapter 2. He's sees a scroll, and it's written inside, both sides, lamentation, woe. And he says to him, Son of man, eat the book. Eat the scroll. He eats the scroll. It's in his mouth. Sweet as honey. It's in his stomach. Bitter. Lamentation and woe. Then the Most High says, Son of man, speak to the people. I've set you as a watchman. And he says, I've not sent you to a people of a different language. Okay, so he goes and speaks. So language, you can see, is important as a watchman. It's very important as a watchman to understand the language of the text. Speak that language to the people. Okay, so Ezekiel is set up as a watchman. And then you can see what he does and the responsibility he has as a watchman in Ezekiel chapter 3. And Ezekiel chapter 33, he has a trumpet. And he says, blow the trumpet. Okay, so he's a watchman. Now, this is very serious stuff, guys. A lot of people say a lot of different things. There's a lot of confusion out there. But, guys, have they eaten the book? Have they eaten the scroll? And you might ask me, Leland, have you eaten the book? Have you eaten the scroll? Yes, I have eaten the book. Okay, I have eaten the scroll. Why am I sent all over the world? Why do I have nothing to... This is what I do, guys. I do prophecy. I don't do something else. I don't have a hobby. I don't have a job. I don't have a business. I have sold all I have, and for 8 years, this is all I do. Okay? And the Most High has found me faithful enough to send me to the nations. Okay? I've been to 17 nations, living by faith. Okay? So have I eaten the book? Yes. Yes, I have. I've eaten the book. I've eaten the scroll, and it is he who has called me as a watchman. So that's why it's responsible, because I will stand before him in judgment. Okay, before the white throne, the books will be open. Son, what did you do? Okay, did I warn the people? So we're going to have a series of messages coming up, guys. I'm going to tell you what the book says. All right, the book speaks of dreadful times that we're about to enter. We're already in them. Okay, but you know, the problem with the subject of the rapture has made people think that they don't have to face hard times. They don't have to face tribulation. They don't have to go through judgment. And that's exactly where we're heading. So the expectation is, you don't have the proper expectation to handle what's about to come. It's just like the Jews when judgment was coming, when the temple was going to be destroyed. All right. Destruction, just like 70 AD. Christ said, your house will be left to you desolate. Same thing. Same thing with the Christians. Judgment is coming, okay? Antichrist is here. Mark of the beast is here. The peace deal is here. The tribulation is here, Okay? But the people can't see it. So, blessed is he that comes to and waits. Now, let's do a recap. Let's go over some of the charts and graphs that we explained to you before, and how do we know when this day is. Now, what is 1,335 days? Basically, it's 3.5 years and 2.5 months. Now, we begin this at the Revelation 12 sign that we can see here, Revelation 12, which happened September 22nd, 2017. Then we have 1 year, and then we have 2 years, 3 years, and a half. So that brings us to the spring of year 2021. But then it's longer. It goes an additional 2.5 months. So you can see from the Revelation 12 sign here, as we go around, you can see it right here. 1,335 days. Now guys, this is marked by a full blood moon. That's on May 25th, 2021. Okay? And you can look throughout the videos. We've announced this for years, guys. This isn't new information. Okay? So we announce when the Antichrist begins his reign, and that's how we know Donald Trump is the Antichrist. Okay? So then we have the 1,335 days. Now, interesting enough, what happens is we have a blood moon, and then what you can see is we then enter the time of the bowls. The first bowl is ulcers. All right, this could tell us that this is the time when the vaccine will be starting, because the vaccine is going to cause all kinds of disease. All right, so that could already be in place. The vaccine could already be in place by that time. Now, when we go to begin this, we don't actually start at September 22nd, 2017. That was the Day of Atonement. We don't start there. We start at the Feast of Trumpets. That was September 13th, 2017. Okay, that's when we begin our count, 1,335 days. Now, amazingly enough, when you do that, you come right to Pentecost, precisely on Pentecost, okay? So 1,335 days, May 24th, 2021. That's a Feast of Pentecost. Now, what we do is we go 1 month, 2 months, and a half, okay? Now, it could be it's on the 9th day of the 3rd month, or the 8th day of the 3rd month, or it could be the 15th day of the 3rd month, where that's where no one knows a precise day or hour. This is the information that we know at this time. Other confirmations on this is when you see the sun turn to sackcloth, a solar eclipse, followed by a full blood moon. These are also important markers. We had them in the year 2010. That's when the king sat upon the throne. We had them again in 2014, okay, when the Lamb opened the seals. Okay, so November 3rd, full solar eclipse, blood moon, April 15th. Then we had 3.5 years. Okay, so it was 3.5 years here, then it was 3.5 years, and then that brings us to the sign of the woman clothed with the sun. So 2017, sign of the woman clothed with the sun, and we had the great solar eclipse over America, August 21st, 2017, full solar eclipse, followed by a blood moon, January 31st, 2018, okay? So that's another 3.5 years. Then we have another 3.5 years, which brings us to the 7th trumpet. So the 7th trumpet, okay, what it is, it goes longer than 6 months, okay, because 1,335 days is an additional 2.5 months. So we have a full solar eclipse coming this year, 2020, December 14th. The next blood moon, that's a solar eclipse, full solar eclipse, and then May, it says 26, I think it's 25th because of the timing, but full blood moon, okay, 2021. That marks 1,335 days, okay? So every 3.5 years, this phenomenon has happened, and that's why we consider it the 7th trumpet. So when we look at the menorah, okay, we had the blood moons, 4 blood moons opening the 4 seals, okay, 5, 6, and then the Revelation 12 sign, great solar eclipse, triggering the trumpets, trumpet 1, trumpet 2, trumpet 3, trumpet 4, trumpet 5, trumpet 6, trumpet 7, full solar eclipse, okay. Now, the next, then between that, there's a blood moon, okay, it's a blood moon, that's the one we're talking about, May 25th, 2021, all right. Then we have the bowls, so we have a partial solar eclipse marking the bowls. I think that one's June 10th, all right, and then it will proceed through the 7 bowls. Now, here's our notes for this video, okay, which I encourage you to get along with the previous notes. And again, blessed is he that waits, Haka, and comes to 1,335 days. We see that in Revelation 10:7. The days of the voice of the 7th angel when he began to sound, the mystery is finished, as he declared to his servants the prophets. So we consider servants the prophets to be Daniel. Now the language and symbolism of the 1,335 days is also viewed in Revelation chapter 12. We have the woman. She has a crown of 12 stars. Okay, these are the 12 tribes. So this relates to the 144,000. And she goes into the wilderness 1,260 days. And it says she had a place prepared of God. Now the place prepared of God is the tabernacle. Okay? So 1,260 days goes from the sign of the woman clothed with the sun, 3.5 years later, comes to the first day of the first month. That's when the tabernacle was set up. Okay, you see that? So she has 1,260 days, a place prepared of God, his tabernacle. That falls, when Moses set up the tabernacle, was on the first day of the 10th month. Okay? Then we have Passover. So the 14th day of the first month is Passover. Then we see that in verse 11, where we see the blood of the Lamb. They overcame by the blood of the Lamb and the word of his testimony. Verse 11. Then we have 5 days to resurrection. And it says, they love not their lives unto death, because they were in faith of the resurrection. The day will be changed, okay? Then what we have in Revelation chapter 12, verse 12, just like we have Daniel 12:12, we have Revelation 12:12, okay? 50 days to Pentecost. From resurrection to Pentecost is 50 days. And it says, rejoice, you that dwell or tabernacle in heaven. Okay? So just like you got the tabernacle, rejoice, you that dwell in heaven. So the feast of Pentecost, you are commanded to rejoice. Okay? So we see that symbolism in Revelation 12:12, just like Daniel 12:12. Okay? So what happened in Pentecost? In Pentecost, they had to wait, Haka, in the Aramaic, for what? 50 days. And there was 120. There was a number of names. There was a precise number of them. 120. You can see that in Nehemiah chapter 10 and Nehemiah chapter 12, where there was 84, 36, total 120. In Nehemiah, precise number. So there's a book and a scroll of their names, and they had to be seated, just like the book and scroll of the 12 tribes, 144,000. All right. Then, on the day of Pentecost, when the church started, we have Acts 2, verse 2, suddenly a sound, an echoes in Greek, from heaven. And that means a thunder of the sea. Okay? And we see this word echoes used in Hebrews chapter 12, verse 19, with the echoes, sound of the trumpet, and the voice of his words at Mount Sinai. So we have this waiting and then suddenly. Okay, see that? So we have this principle of waiting. Blessed is he that waits, and then suddenly. Now, when it comes to the 7th trumpet, okay, you see the 7th trumpet in Revelation chapter 10, and Apostle John was told to eat the book, and it was his belly bitter, and it was his mouth sweet as honey. And then he was to speak to the nations. We see the same thing, Ezekiel chapter 2, verse 8. Eat the scroll, fill your bowels, and it was his mouth sweet as honey. Then Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 8, he receives the seal. It's a diamond harder than flint on his forehead, okay, because he must deal with the wicked and rebellious people. In chapter 3, verse 17, he set up a watchman, and he's harpazo, by the living creatures, okay? So you can see the same pattern. Then chapter 33, verse 2, Son of man, I've sent you as a watchman. Blow the trumpet. All right. Jeremiah also was a watchman. Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 17. I set a watchman over you. Hear the sound of the trumpet. But the people said, we will not hear. Okay, the same thing happening in this day. In Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 5. Declare in Judah. Now this relates to the order of the tribes. Judah first. Judah. Blow the trumpet. Set the standard in Zion. Okay, a standard is a banner. It's a insignia. So for Judah, the insignia is lion. And you see the lion in Jeremiah 4, verse 7. The lion has come up from the thicket. Well, we see the same language, Revelation 10, verse 3. And cry with a loud voice as a lion roars. So you hear the angel sounding as a lion roars. What? Judah. Lion. Standard. Zion. That means he's coming. Get in order. Get your house in order. Prepare yourself, for the king is coming. For in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he began to sound the trumpet, the mystery of God should be completed. Okay? Now, this language, the mystery, okay, in the Greek, this word is salpizo, sounding the trumpet. The mysterion of God should be completed. Well, this is as we see. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 51. I show you a mystery, a mysterion. We shall not all sleep. We shall not all die, but be changed. We shall be changed in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye. Guys, these are the words we're going to look at. This moment. Okay, this is Greek. This word moment is atmos. And what it means, it's an atom. It's an atom of time. So in a moment, in an atom of a time, at the twinkling of an eye. Twinkling of an eye means like a wink. Suddenly. Okay, quickly. Twinkling at the eye. At the what? Last eschatos trumpet. For the trumpet shall sound. Salpizo. That's the same word in Revelation 10. It shall sign. And the dead shall be raised incorruptible. This is the resurrection. And we shall be changed from mortal to immortality. So, let us look at these words. This is Greek words here. Atmos. And I forget what this one is, but there's no other examples in context to understand what these words are. So, when we go to the Old Testament, we can find them. Amazing. Guys, I hope you appreciate this study. I think this is amazing. I think this is fascinating. So when we get back to Jeremiah chapter 4 again. O my soul, the sound or voice of the trumpet, the shout, teruah of war. So when Joshua ran around Jericho, they did a shout, teruah of war. Suddenly, are my tents or tabernacle, his body is spoiled, and my curtains in a moment. Okay, so what is this saying? O my soul. Okay, what this is talking about, the resurrection. When his soul, the sleeping, he's sleeping, but he's going to be resurrected at what? The sound of the trumpet, at the shout of war. Suddenly, in Hebrew this is pitom. Okay, at the piton, at the suddenly, my tent, my tabernacle, his body will be spoiled, and his curtains, and the tabernacle had curtains that relates to the body, the skin, in a moment. Okay, and that's a rega in Hebrew. So you see these words? Suddenly, moment, pitom, rega. Okay, let's look at them. So here's the word. Rega. To wink. This is what it means, guys. This is in Hebrew. To wink from the motion of the eyelids. That's what rega means. Okay? And a moment. At a what? Twinkling of an eye. So twinkling means wink. At a pitom. Instantly, suddenly, surprisingly. And this comes from the root word pita. Pita. To open the eyes. To wink quickly, unexpectedly. So this is clearly talking about the moment, the twinkling of an eye in Jeremiah chapter 4 in the Hebrew, which we see in Greek in 1 Corinthians 15:51. And we have other examples of this word and both words used in context in Isaiah 29 verse 5. It shall be an instant, a pitta, suddenly, a pitam. And you shall be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder, an earthquake, a great voice, a storm, a whirlwind. So we visited Ezekiel chapter 1 with a whirlwind, a tempest, a whirlwind, and the flame of devouring fire. Now verse 11, the vision of all is become the words of a book that is sealed. Okay, so we got to remember this word vision. We're going to see this in a moment. Okay, the vision is become of the words that are book that are sealed. The people don't understand the vision. People don't understand these things, guys. Why? Because you have to be authorized. So the sealed book is given to them. Read it. Read this. And they say, we cannot, for it is sealed. Now here we are on our next page of notes. And some of you have asked me, Leland, will you have a backup channel or some kind of alternative website where you're going to post videos? Guys, basically what I'm doing is I'm doing notes, okay? What I'm doing is exactly what it says. Write it before them on a tablet, on a notepad, in a book, that it be for a time forever. So guys, I'm writing the vision in a notepad and a book because we're going to reach a point where it doesn't matter the service or whatever, the censorship or whatever. We're going to go back to books, and so what you'll need to do is print off these notes and everything, okay? So I'm doing my best to take the information, make it available in a PDF, which you can then print, which I encourage you to do in color. So that's why I'm going through the effort to put all this information, physically write it, because that's the direction things are headed. So this is amazing, guys. This continues. So we're in Isaiah 30 verse 8. We just saw in Isaiah 29 about the coming of the Lord. Then in verse 13, suddenly, again this word, pitam, at an instant, patab. Now, in returning and in rest shall you be saved. Okay, that's verse 15. And a beacon on top of the hill of the mountain, the standard on the hill. So the standard is the sign of the Son of Man. Okay, there's a standard. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah has prevailed. Verse 18. Now really pay attention to this. Therefore will Yahweh wait, Haka. Now Haka, wait. This is blessed is he that waits 1,335 days. So therefore will Yahweh wait, okay, that he may be gracious to you, and therefore be exalted, that he may have mercy on you, for he is a God of justice, for God of justice is Yahweh. This is amazing. This is an amazing verse to those that know how to wait on the Lord, is this word Haka. It actually appears twice. Therefore will Yahweh wait. Then the verse continues. Blessed are all who wait, Haka, for him. And so for him in Hebrew is a lamed vav, lo, okay? And this is also seen in Isaiah chapter 64 verse 4. Blessed are they who wait for him. Blessed are they that wait the 1,335 days. The next verse, for the people shall dwell in Zion at Jerusalem. Verse 30, Yahweh shall cause his glorious voice to be heard, and show lightning, a flame of devouring fire, a tempest, and hailstones. This is the description of the Son of Man coming in the clouds, and it's very clear. Write it before them. Write it on a tablet. This word is the tables of stone, when Moses wrote the tables of stone, okay? And Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 1. I will stand upon my watch. I will set me upon the tower. And the watchman to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. Okay? So the watchman is reproved. The watchman is held at a different standard. Okay? You can read that in Ezekiel chapter 3 and chapter 33. Okay? He will stand, I will stand upon my watch. Verse 2, write the vision, make it plain upon the tables or the tablets, that he may run that reads it. So I bless all you guys that take this stuff serious and you study, and I encourage you, run by his words. I'm writing his words, not mine. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Guys, previously people have asked me, is the coming of the Son of Man, is it going to be on a feast time? Normally I thought no, but being that this falls on Pentecost, and this states here the vision is for an appointed time. This is a Moedim, or a Moed, which is a feast time. So appointed time is a feast. So it's going to be a feast. That's when the vision is. At the end, it shall speak and not lie, though it wait, haka. Okay, so also in Habakkuk chapter 2, we have this word, to wait, haka. Wait for it, because it will surely come. Then in verse 4, the just shall live by faith. Verse 7, they shall not rise up suddenly, patah. So here's this word again, suddenly. Okay? So guys, I'm telling you, I'm warning you, look, it says in the seventh trumpet, it is time no longer. Okay, there's a precise number of days. In Ezekiel chapter 12, verse 25, he said, it shall no longer be prolonged in your days. And the people say, the vision that he sees is for many days. It's for a time that is far off. Guys, most of your internet, YouTube prophets, they're kicking the can. They're saying, oh, it's going to be in 5 years and 10 years. Oh, it's going to... Guys, they're going to just keep saying that. These people will be right in the middle of the tribulation, and they're just going to keep kicking the can into the future. They're going to keep saying, the vision that he sees is for many days. It's for a time afar off. No, it's not. The vision is now. The vision is at hand. Okay? You know, we're looking at, you know, these things being fulfilled. We're in the time of the woes, okay? Now, another mystery I want to share with you before we conclude is the mystery of the chariot. In Song of Solomon chapter 6, verse 12, it says, my soul made me like the chariots of Ami Nadib. Ami Nabib. That means it's like the people of the prince. So my soul is made like a chariot. This has to do with rapture. This has to do with translation, because it refers to the translation like Elijah was taken in chariots. Okay, so it's a mysterious phrase, a mysterious name. Okay, but we can find similar names in other places. 1 Chronicles chapter 27, verse 6. We see a name, Ami Zabad. Now, Ami Zabad relates to the third month. Okay, the third month. And the third month is the month of Pentecost. Okay, so is this maybe referencing the chariots? Okay, another interesting aspect of the name, very close, is in Numbers chapter 10, verse 14. Ami Nadab. Okay, it's the first standard. It's a standard of Judah. So Judah is first. Okay, so you can see that we have references to Judah, the trumpet of Judah, the roaring of the lion. The roaring of the lion is the tribe of Judah. The roaring of the lion is the standard, the ensign of Judah. So guys, I encourage you to get the notes. This message had 2 pages of notes, and then we had the previous message, which had more information determining the 1,335 days and the connection of Daniel chapter 12 with the resurrection and the connection of the coming of the Son of Man as it relates to the 6th seal. In fact, in addition to that, guys, I want to really, really encourage you to watch another video, or if you don't watch the video, it's okay. But within the notes, there's going to be several pages of notes in this tablet, in this PDF file, on our series here, the Rapture series. And one of those in particular, we brush upon it quickly in this video, is the connection of 1 Corinthians chapter 15 with Revelation in the seventh trumpet. It's clearly talking about the same thing. In fact, I'll show you real quick what those notes look like. Guys, these notes are really important. As you can see, we got Revelation chapters 8 through 11 and 1 Corinthians 15. And the connection between them, we can clearly see that, again, line upon line, precept upon precept, they're talking about the same thing. And I believe there's something like 18 examples. Okay? As you look through here, there's another video. I encourage you to get these and take the time and study. Okay, guys, that's what we do always in this channel. We're sharing this information so you can study and see for yourself. These are not our own opinions. We just take the scriptures, compare it with the scriptures so that we can learn, we can understand, okay, the mystery, okay, the mysterion of God should be finished. Behold, I show you a mystery. All these are perfect examples of everything lining up. So guys, I can't encourage you enough to get these notes, print them off, do it in color for however long we can. Now I know a lot of these videos are dry. It's, you know, it's basically just information. This is what the Bible says, okay? And sometimes it's kind of like, you know, the people ask me questions, well, Leland, what do we do? What is our practical application? First of all, what we have to do is repent. And repent means as in go back, pent, as in penthouse, high. Okay, so it's going higher. It's going back to the original design, what God created us, okay? That's what everything is, the restoration of Jesus Christ, the revealing of Jesus Christ, is back to the Garden of Eden, okay? Now, when it says here, wait, basically, what does that mean? How do you wait? How do you rest? Guys, when I started doing this and I started learning about all this, I spent most of my time just in prayer waiting. Now, waiting, what it means is that, you know, you go about, like I go about this stuff all the time. So I'm in the scriptures, I'm studying, I'm in prayer, I'm in worship. And then I have time where I just wait. So, for example, I'm teaching on waiting. I had all this information and it's coming. New information is coming and coming, and so instead of just, okay, I'm going to do one video today, I'm going to do next one tomorrow, I just waited. And what you do when you wait is you just rest, okay? So you go about, you know, like your activities and stuff. That's like the physical realm. But then when you're in the spirit, the spiritual realm is a different dimension, okay? So how do you get there? Well, you can get there by sleeping. You go to sleep, then your spirit's awake, and you see dreams or whatever. So that's a place in your subconscious where your awake mind is asleep. Okay, so that's what is happening. There's like this resurrection, this waking up. Okay, and so that's what we're doing. We're waking up. We're being shaken. Okay, and there's lots of ways that God is doing this. He's shaking us. You know, some of you hear trumpets in your sleep. I've heard that before too, like a trumpet, just like bah, and you just wake up and like, what the heck was that? There's lots of things to get our attention, to wake up. Okay, so but what does that mean? It means to be awake spiritually. Okay, so to be awake spiritually and to wait is to let everything in the world just fall. Okay, the world says, what are you going to do about that? You have all you guys, my message doesn't change, okay? I mean, I'm in a marvelous place, and yeah, I'm watching what's going on. We're in the tribulation, of course, it's going to be crazy. But I'm not worried about it, guys. That's what he said, take no care for your life. So the more you're concerned with your own life, the more stressed out you're going to be. The more you just wait and you trust and you don't even care about yourself. That's really what he said. okay, then you're not worried because, okay, you know, oh, what are you going to do about money? What are you going to do about this? Oh, you got a food, you know. So what do people do? They buy truckloads of toilet paper, you know. It's madness. And guys, the madness is going to get worse and worse and worse. There's no going back. There's no anything, okay? So what do? Okay, you wait. You rest, okay? You let everything fall. And you say, okay, I'm just going to be in prayer. I'm going to worship, play some music. You know, play some music if you learn an instrument, okay? And play some music and then rest. Okay, get yourself seated in a quiet position and then just rest. Think, meditate on the things that God is saying to you. Meditate on a simple word, like a simple word. I mean, I've been just in, these are lots of verses and everything and a long message, but I've just been in this, blessed is he that waits upon him. Okay? And guys, this is a lifestyle. Okay? It's a lifestyle. Isaiah chapter 30, verse 18. For the Lord waits, halak, to be gracious to you. Okay? When you realize who he is, then you're not worried about everything else. Okay? So that's what we're really going to need to do more and more, guys. So I want you to remember that. We'll give you some practical things as we go along through these messages. But what I want you to do as well is see these words, okay? Amazing words, and his word will be fulfilled. So this is part of our playlist on the Rapture series. As we've stated many times, please get these notes. I mean, we don't know how much longer we have, but fear God. Worship him, for the hour of his judgment is come. Worship him that made the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is therein.